I hesitated on the title. I wanted to save it for something truly nasty and truly catastrophic. This climb turned out to be not quite that. The fall is not quite as glorious as the pointy rocks in the slab at the bottom seem to promise. However, we don't have a great abundance of talus in this area, so it is probably the most deserving thing I can hope to find. It was just last year we didn't have any climbs finishing in the pod, which, besides having the only really interesting landing on the wall, also had the most moss and untested rock. It was the remaining terra incognita. So last year we did a climb, the most direct line to reach it. I should actually back up some here and start with some crag approach footage. The whole point of shooting this footage was to put it at the beginning, sort of a teaser lead-in. I got a new camera I'm excited about. It's an action camera, shooting 60 frames per second, coming down the trail in the woods, even though it only plays back at 30 anyway. There's a log. I'm going to bust over the log. And we can back that up. Over the log in slow motion. The purpose of shooting 60 frames per second is, according to what I could glean from the internet, to capture rad slow-mo. And I should probably add some music too. Let's do that. Here it is. Over the log, slow motion, music. Okay, here he is, at the rock, climbing the rock. I wish I could also do like an establishing panorama shot of the area in all its natural grandeur with maybe a slow pan. But there's just so many trees up here, there just aren't any panorama to shoot, so on we go. Right, I was saying, what was a little disappointing about the more obvious direct start we did last year was that certain taller people could kind of keep their feet on the sidewalk for about half the climb and effectively skip to the end without really doing anything. Oh shit, I forgot to put, I wanted to have an epigraph at the beginning of the movie. I guess I'll do that now. A GoPro still is a distorted version of the truth. A GoPro video is a half-truth, distorted 30 times per second. How far right to start? Doesn't really matter, but for this video especially, I tried to cobble together the grandest combination I could. So if you start far enough right, and sort of trend up and left, just the right angle, you link most of the hardest moves, hardest technically, on this section of the wall, and you also get the dirtiest, tallest top out with the ugliest, rockiest landing. It's like amateur highball porn. I remember reading in John Sherman's guidebook that you should drop some things from the top of the tall boulder to test the fall trajectory. So here I'm dropping different objects, different shapes and sizes. There's small chalk bag, big chalk bag. That's the corrections by Jonathan Franzen. Soft cover, 400 pages or so. Kind of domestic social satire, I guess. Wanted to test a medium-length novel. It flipped, actually, landed face down. It was an Oprah Winfrey book club pick, a rather infamous one. I'm not sure what this music is exactly. I actually just took it from another climbing video on YouTube. What I love about this crack is there's always new lines to do between the lines you've already done. There's chalk on what you've already climbed, and then there's moss in between, and it looks blank, but usually it's just a matter of reaching into the blank section, groping around in the moss, and usually you find something you can use. Okay, there's an exception. That turned out not to be. But you find enough. You find some sort of fold, and you just keep groping at it. You keep doing like that. And it may take several tries, but eventually the path forward does emerge. More drop tests. There's decline and fall. Well, volume 1 at least. Falling at a really good clip, a lot faster than the corrections or than chalk. But that's hardcover, so it weathered the fall pretty well. Drop test confirms that Edward Gibbon is a more ponderous author than Jonathan Franzen, which is in line with what we would expect. I found this article recently about how to fall safely. A veteran Hollywood stuntman gives you some tips. So to prepare for this problem, I practiced my falling technique. You're meant to buckle your knees, then throw your arm up to one side, and then turn, kind of lead with the opposite side. It's harder than it sounds getting the sequence and the timing right.
Nice, dude. Come on, don't fail.
Music and climbing videos is what is known as extra-diegetic sound versus intra-diegetic sound, which would be like, well, like that. Which thank God it is. Like, imagine trying to climb while climbing video music was actually playing. Like this. I mean, this would be the worst possible thing while you were trying to focus on tenuous moves. If you wanted to troll someone, this is like what you would compose to do that. That footage, by the way, was a test run from the cheat start, not the full length. Here I'm breaking with convention by placing the successful foray before several unsuccessful ones, which in fact preceded it. By convention, this video ought to sort of crescendo from the initial fumbling attempts to the heartbreakingly close one, and finally culminate in the send. But in this case, that seems totally anticlimactic because Is it really that exciting to watch someone drag through a clumsy mantle? What inspires, I believe, is blood, martyrdom, glory. Now, I did not achieve as much of any of those things as I would have liked, but I still want to save the most gruesome footage I have for the finale. It's more like a few scrapes and a little Charlie horse on the ankle. I also prepared for the poor landing by dropping moderate heights in the gym. I found that I could stack plastic crates in certain configurations to simulate a talus landing.
The cooks in the break it fast.
I continued the drop tests, which were intriguing in their own right because one could observe the effect of gravity on various authors. There's John Milton, Euclid, Lucretius, I'm going to have to change this music. It's just not appropriate for someone my age, as well as other problematic aspects. Galileo, Dandalillo, Milan Kundera, Walo Narsajak. How about, let's see, what time of day is it? Haydn. Some good old Joseph Haydn. Unfortunately, that's all the Haydn I have. I would keep it playing, but I'm not sure what the exact provenance of that music is. And I won't find out until after I upload this video, and the YouTube music robot tells me and gives me a copyright warning, or I guess suspends my account at some point. I'm not sure exactly how that works. A YouTubeism, which I admit I don't really understand, but find rather sweet, is that instead of saying the end, I say, thank you for watching.